Tovarna Iskra je bila ustanovljena maja 1945 v prostorih bivše tovarne Jugočeška v Kranju. Prostori v Kranju so postali pretesni, zato se je tovarna razširila z obrati v nekaterih drugih krajih. Konec leta 1959 so ustanovili novo poslovno enoto s sedežem v Šempetru pri Novi Gorici.
The situation in the Goriška region at the time was anything but rosy. The unemployment rate was high, especially for the unqualified labor force. There was a lack of jobs. Nova Gorica was under accelerated construction, and there was a tense atmosphere on the Italian border. The company was officially established in 1960. The company built its production area in the hangars of a disused Italian Air Force base, which had been used by Autoobnova. The same year, they also finished the headquarters building and the canteen, so production could start. The first employees remember that the new workplace meant an attractive opportunity for young unemployed people. An advantage was given to those who had participated in state-organized youth work activities. The first groups of employees were trained in Kran. Very soon, in the first half of 1960, the first starters and dynamos were produced in Šempeter. In the beginning, experts from Kran oversaw production, but after a short while, the Šempeter factory began to stand on its own feet. The intensive development of the company went hand in hand with the growth of the Yugoslav car industry of that time.
Potrebe sodobnega prometa zahtevajo, da vgrajujemo v avtomobile vrsto električnih naprav, zanje pa potrebujemo več energije. Klasični dinamo komaj zadošča rastočim zahtevam, čeprav je precej močan. Konstrukcije vozil pa nam pri tem narekujejo vgraditvene mere, katerih ne smemo preseči.
Products from Iskra and Šempeter were built into the vehicles of companies like Zastava, Fab Famos, TAM, Industrija motorjev Rakovica, and Tomos. In the first decade, they also began with the exports that helped the company strengthen its position. In accordance with the spirit of the time, and by looking outwards, the company contributed to the town's development, which was, by the nature of the political decision to establish Nova Gorica, particularly in need of such help. The growth in production provided jobs not only for the inhabitants from the Goriška region, but also for those living over the boundaries of the municipality, all the way to Tolmin, Goriška Brda, Karst, and the Vipava Valley. Social standards and medical care improved, apartments were built, trade union tourism was initiated, sporting activities were supported, and subsidies for different professions were granted to young people. By the end of the 60s, the company had already employed 1,000 people. In 1969, the company changed its name to Iskra Avtoelektričnih izdelkov Nova Gorica, but still remained part of the Združeno podjetje Iskra Kran. The following year, the company celebrated its 10th anniversary, and people still remember receiving a gratuity of 1,000 dinars, which was a healthy amount in those days. Due to the nature of work that demanded precise manual dexterity, the company increasingly employed more women. Until then, women had been more or less restricted to housekeeping and seasonal work. In the beginning, many of the female employees also still worked on farms, but due to the increasing requirements in the factory and the rising standard of living, they gradually abandoned them. In 1971, the factory acquired a license for the alternator AAG, designed to meet the needs of the Yugoslav automotive industry, and specifically a new passenger car, the Zastava 101, the so-called Stoenka in Slovenian.
To je, vidiš, aktivna varnost. Živahen motor, zanesljive zavore, odlična lega na cesti. Takšnemu avtomobilu se tudi sneg in led ne moreta upreti.
In the 70s, smaller factories in Bovec, Tolmin, Komen and Ljubljana merged with the Šempeter factory and thereby completed the range of products. The factory was part of Iskra Kol, or Composite Organization of Associated Labor, the Yugoslav terminology for a complex business organization equivalent to a corporation, which was at that time one of the biggest European groups in the electrotechnology market, as it employed over 25,000 people. The worldwide export of automotive electrical products was carried out through the trading network of Iskra Komerc from Ljubljana. In the second half of the 70s, the company began to develop sales by participating in exhibitions at home and abroad. At that time, the Yugoslav market did not function in accordance with market laws, as the prices were determined by legislation in Belgrade. After the transfer of knowledge from Ljubljana, where the development of products and professional training initially took place, these were gradually integrated into Iskra's own activities. In 1979, an autonomous unit called the Basic Organization of Associated Labor, the Automotive Institute, was established in Šempeter pri Gorici. Further investments in new production programs followed. In addition, a building with facilities and laboratories for R&D activity was built.
Že nekaj let beležimo, poleg izdelave najzahtevnejših orodij, tudi uspehe pri izdelavi namenskih strojev, avtomatizacije montaže ter tehnoloških, kontrolnih in drugih naprav.
Pred nedavnim so strokovnjaki temeljne organizacije delovna sredstva šempetrske Iskre Avtoelektrike projektirali in izdelali nov stroj za navijanje rotorjev malih zaganjalnikov in si s tem bistveno poenostavili zamudno in naporno delo. Doslej so rotorje namreč navijali ročno in s pomočjo stroja, ki so ga uvozili iz Sovjetske zveze. Le-ta pa ni več zadoščal potrebam vse večje proizvodnje.
In 1990, the British Standard Institution certified Iskra Avtoelektrika to the internationally recognized quality management system ISO 9001, the first company in Yugoslavia and the whole of Eastern Europe to achieve this. In the beginning of the 90s, the dissolution of Yugoslavia and the change in the political system hit the company badly.
Hujši udarec je to, da so z vsaj polovico celotne prodaje še vedno odvisni od jugoslovanskega trga in od tega kar šestino za kragujevško zastavo, pre katere imajo celo izpeljan izvoz za Sovjetsko zvezo v vrednosti 11 milijonov dolarjev. In plačila z jugoslovanskega trga kasnijo.
Da obdržimo domače tržišče, moramo biti vsekakor konkurenčni proti novim vzhodnim proizvajalcem avtoelektrike, v prvi vrsti proti polskim proizvajalcem, Bolgarom in drugim. Medtem ko smo pred prodorom in plasmajem ostalih evropskih proizvajalcev, kot so Bosch, Valeo, Magneti Marelli, torej to so vsekakor svetovni proizvajalci in proti njim se nimamo kaj bati, saj so njihove cene više od naših.
Having lost the captive Yugoslav market, orders went down by 70%. The following years saw great efforts from all employees, a certain amount of luck, and plenty of seized opportunities. Iskra Avtoelektrika emerged as a stronger company and focused its activities on the global market. It began to establish trading and production companies around the world.
Zelo močni smo v Franciji, ker imamo svojo firmo in vladujemo v distribuciji 20% trga. Isto načrtujemo v Italiji, začenjamo praktično z januarjem zdaj. Podobno zadevo ustanavljamo zdaj v Španiji. Nemčijo imamo že rešeno v sklopu z Iskra Komercom in načrtujemo tudi nadalje v tej kombinaciji.
Firstly, trading companies in France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Great Britain and the United States were founded. Later, production plants in Iran, Belarus, China, Brazil, Russia and Bosnia-Herzegovina followed. To complete the picture, independent distributors and license partners covered all other key world markets.
Une qualité des produits que souvent nos concurrents ont à un degré moindre, puisque nous distribuons sur le marché français des produits neufs et non pas des produits rénovés. Ça, c'est une première chose importante. Deuxièmement, un rapport qualité-prix très intéressant. En effet, il y a une grande disparité entre nos produits neufs et des produits neufs de la concurrence.
In 1995, the program of DC motors and electronic controls was transferred from Bosch to Iskra Avtoelektrika, a huge milestone for the company.
V drugi polovici letošnjega leta pa bodo v šempetrski Iskri začeli s programom, ki je bil do lanskega novembra Boschov. Podpisali so namreč pogodbo, s katero prevzemajo znanje in trg.
No, res je, pogodbo z Boschem smo podpisali 22. novembra. Pri tem ne gre samo za prenos tehnologije in znanja, pač pa tudi v bistvu za prenos kompletnega programa motorjev, kar pomeni tržišče, know-how, dokumentacijo, tehnologijo, dejansko znanje in izkušnje na vseh segmentih poslovanja.
In later years, Iskra Avtoelektrika consolidated its position as a global manufacturer of electric rotary systems and equipment.
Če je bil doslej največji in najpomembnejši evropski proizvajalec Bosch vedno za korak pred šempetrsko Iskro Avtoelektriko, so ga zdaj Novogoričani ujeli. V korporaciji MAN so namreč kljub Boschovemu primatu dobili homologacijo za izdelavo zaganjalnikov za gospodarska vozila.
Pridobili smo prvo naročilo in s tem smo prišli v prvo vgradnjo MAN-a. Smo direktno s tem tudi postali konkurenca Boschu.
Na vzhodnih trgih pa se odloča predvsem za sovlaganja v proizvodnjo. Tako tudi za mešano podjetje v beloruskem Grodnem, kamor bo vložila opremo za proizvodnjo zaganjalnikov, ki je v Šempetru ne potrebujejo več.
Этот проект имеет очень большое значение, в первую очередь потому, что это повышается технический уровень тракторов, хорошо еще от известных Беларусь, и машин МАЗ.
In the year 2000, after many years of striving towards the twin goals of quality and business excellence, the company gained their highest recognition in this field, the Award for Business Excellence of the Republic of Slovenia. Iskra Avtoelektrika is one of the major Slovenian exporters. It exports 99% of its products.
Največji svetovni sejem avtomobilske opreme poteka tukaj v Frankfurtu vse od leta 1986 vsako drugo leto. Letos se na njem predstavlja 3600 razstavljavcev iz 60 držav. Iz Slovenije sta dva razstavna prostora in sicer se 36 proizvajalcev delov za motorna vozila predstavlja preko svojega kluba na enem razstavnem prostoru, svoj in izjemno odmeven razstavni prostor pa ima tudi šempetrska Iskra Avtoelektrika.
However, its operations still remain an important part of the wider and closer social environment. For a long while now, it has been one of the biggest employers in the local area. Many suppliers and contracted workers depend on it.
私どものこの旋盤とか、あるいはマシニングセンターをこれ使っていただいておりますけれども、これからも非常に長い間いい関係を持続できるだろうと、そのように思っております。またぜひそうしたいと思って。
Iskra also cooperates with numerous research and development institutions and in this way connects the educational and business environments. It makes donations and sponsors activities in education, sports, culture, medical care, and supports local clubs and societies. The global economic crisis in 2008 and 2009 has had an effect on the operations of Iskra Avtoelektrika as well. Owing to a huge drop in sales, the company was forced to let a large number of people go. However, our focus on developed markets, the successful control of costs, intensive work with customers, and continuous endeavors for new business, along with a better economic situation this year, have resulted in the growth of sales and new employment opportunities. The vision for the future is clear. The company is focusing on products with higher added value in the field of starters, alternators, drive systems, and mechatronics. In addition, it is increasingly focusing on so-called green technologies, designed to reduce the consumption of fossil fuels, hazardous emissions, and to encourage the use of renewable sources of energy.